Decision fatigue is something that affects all leaders at all levels. No matter how good you are, no matter how much experience you have, all leaders feel the effects of decision fatigue. Today, I go over what exactly decision fatigue is, how it affects your home life, how it will affect your work life, and how you can reduce decision fatigue's impact. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Moving Forward Leadership Podcast, episode 67, How to Battle Decision Fatigue. Welcome one, welcome all to the Moving Forward Leadership Podcast. It's your host and founder here, Scott McCarthy, and thanks. It's a great day to be a leader, isn't it? And thank you for coming out yet again to listen to me talk about leadership. If you're wondering what this show is all about, it's your first time listening, well, I'll sum it up this way. If you feel like you don't know where to start as a leader, if you're looking somewhere for more leadership resources, or you're an experienced leader, but you know that you need to keep learning, keep expanding your knowledge, then congratulations, you're at the right spot, because this is where I go out and find world-class guests and basically bring their experience to you. And for episodes like today, where it's actually solo, I take out my experience of 20-odd years of leadership and predominantly being with the Canadian Army and give it to you. So welcome one, welcome all. It's great to have you here. Today we're going to be talking about decision fatigue. Okay? Before I dive in, I just quickly want to talk about the great resource that you don't want many of you out there are missing out on. And it blows my mind that when I look at the download stats and the thousands of you listening and then see that we're just under 100 people, I should say, not personnel. This isn't work, Scott. This is pleasure. But anyway, when less than 100 people in the Moving Forward Leadership Mastermind, it actually blows my mind, because you know what? There's so much content that's being dropped in there daily that you're not getting here with the podcast. You're not getting it whatsoever. So why are you not there? Why are you not in the mastermind? And it's easy. Just go to movingforwardleadership.com/mastermind, and you're going to be fired right into the Facebook group. Answer a couple quick questions and I'll let you right in. It's that easy, folks. And you know what the cool thing about the mastermind is? I ask all my guests if they want to be a part of it. And there, you can go ahead and interact with them. Guests like Chris Williams from 3 weeks ago now, I believe. He is in there daily posting all kinds of things. And right now, currently this month, we'll be wrapping up this challenge shortly. But we got a morning goals ritual going on. Something kind of funny that goes on in there is that we're actually posting pictures of our watches when we wake up early in the morning to achieve our goals. So both Chris and I have some physical fitness goals. So you're seeing me, for example, this morning posting a picture of 5:09 a.m. as I get up to get at my morning workout. And it's just something a little fun that we're doing, having some fun in there. But at the same time, it's keeping us accountable to our goals. It's helping motivate people to achieve their goals. And it's just a pretty fun way to do it. So if all that interests you, you want to learn more about leadership, you want to interact with other leaders, you want to pose questions, you want to chat with me, then what are you waiting for? Come and join the mastermind. And guess what? It is 100% free. 100% free, and it will always be free. So you go to movingforwardleadership.com/mastermind, or scroll down the show notes. For this episode, it's movingforwardleadership.com/67, or just use your podcasting app. Anyway, the link is there. That's enough of that. Marketing. Let's get to the goods, right? So you're probably wondering what decision fatigue is, and it literally is exactly what the words mean. You're exhausted from making decisions. Think about it. You're a leader. You could be a spouse. You could be a parent, right? So think about all those extra decisions that get overlaid on your life as both a spouse and then even more so as a parent. By the time you wake up and you get out the door, you might have gone through a couple hundred decisions already. Not big ones. We decide to do things without even realizing that we've decided that we're going to do things because we're so used to it. But when you get into the whole leadership aspect and work aspect, and all of a sudden you're being asked to make crucial decisions and you're weighing the pros, the cons, the factors, the implications, the impacts of the impacts, and it keeps going and going and going. All of a sudden, these things actually become mentally exhausting to you. How many times have you come home and you just want to slump on the couch, have something to drink, and that could be alcoholic or non-alcoholic, whatever, floats your boat, and just chill out and relax. And maybe you got your spouse, your partner there asking you, well, what do you want to do tonight? What would you like to have for supper tonight? And you're like, I just don't care. I just want to relax and not make another recommendation, not make another decision, not weigh any pros and cons. I just want to be right now. And all of a sudden you start realizing that this decision fatigue is real. It's even more real than making decisions at work, but it's actually impacting your home life. And I'll give you a real life example. My wife one time asked me, she's like, Scott, what do you want for supper? I'm like, I don't know. I just don't care. Whatever you want. And she got upset with me because she had enough. And I was confused. I'm like, I don't understand. Why are you getting mad with me? It's because for so long I wasn't doing any input into the relationship because I was absolutely exhausted from work and making decisions. It was having a negative impact at home. I wasn't being present at home because I was actually exhausted from my work life, you see. I didn't realize that at the time. I didn't know what it was. But later, as I started looking into it, I realized that, my God, I have decision fatigue when I get home at the end of the day. I'm tired from making decisions all day long. And then coming home, the last thing I wanted to do was decide what was for supper. So that's how decision fatigue can really impact your home life. And in fact, it could, luckily for us, obviously we're still together. She's still my wife and everything's great. But the point is, it can actually have some serious negative consequences. Marriages or relationships can fall apart from decision fatigue if you don't go ahead and take care of it. If you're saying to yourself, Scott, that's great and fine and dandy, don't care, I don't have a spouse at home, or I have no issues like that at home, tell me how decision fatigue affects my work. Well, it's pretty simple. You can make the wrong calls. You can make decisions and ultimately be the wrong ones, which is never good, right? You always want to make sure that you want to make the best decision with the information you have and the factors that you can analyze at the time. So ultimately, decision fatigue, as you get more fatigued, the less and less patience you have and ability you have to go ahead and make those proper decisions. So how do you go about reducing decision fatigue? You can't eliminate decision fatigue. It's like exercising. If you exercise, you're always going to feel your muscles tired. You will wake up and be sore. You will, as you go through your exercise, get tired. If you go for a 30-minute run, you're going to be more exhausted at minute 28 than what you were at minute 2. It's just a fact of life. So there's no way to eliminate decision fatigue. That, if someone says that, that's falsity in my opinion. It's impossible to eliminate decision fatigue. Because as I said, as you decide more and more things, the more exhausted you will get from those decisions. And that can come out and manifest itself in a few different ways. You may become irritable. You may actually become physically tired. You may actually stop caring about the decisions you're making. And ultimately, you're doing a disservice to yourself, your people, your organization, and your family, right? So how do we go about reducing the impact of decision fatigue? Because that's the core of today's podcast, right? You got what it is. You get how it affects everything from our home life to our work. But how do we go about reducing the impact? Because just like I just said, you can't eliminate it. So you have to mitigate it, right? If you can't eliminate a problem, then you have to mitigate it somehow. So I got 5 ways here. 5 tips for you today on how you can go about reducing decision fatigue's impact and reducing decision fatigue in total. And the first one is be at your peak. You always want to be at your peak as a leader, to lead the best you can. For your people, for your organization, for yourself. So you have to take care of yourself. And what does that mean? It means getting the rest that you need. Not driving yourself to the ground, running on 3 hours sleep for the past 3 weeks. Because that is one surefire way to ensure that decision fatigue will get to you and get to you extremely fast. You can also exercise. Exercise is a great way to reduce that stress, to make sure that you're operating at your peak. Those who are more physically fit, it is proven that they are actually more mentally fit as well. They can endure more mental hardship than those who are physically unfit. Doesn't mean absolutely going to happen. You have to work on it, but it's another tool in the toolbox that will allow you to avoid that decision fatigue. And then finally, you need to make sure that you have that work-life balance. That you're not necessarily bringing all your work at home. You need that break while you're home. But as well, you need to ensure that you're not bringing life's home problems to work as well. You do your best to try to separate the two. Impossible all the time, I know. Believe me, I know. However, you definitely want to try to make that balance so that you basically get that break from work problems at night and life problems during the workday. And that'll help you with your decision fatigue. So that's the first one. Be at your peak, always. The second one is delegation. I've talked a lot about delegation throughout my 2.5, 3 years here in the podcast. And I'll continue talking about it basically until the day I give it up. Delegation enables you to avoid or reduce decision fatigue simply because you're not making as many decisions anymore. You're enabling your subordinates to take care of those minor decisions that really do you need to make. Are they really at your level? Truly, does it have to be you that makes those decisions? Or could it be someone else? If you're not the only person that can truly make that decision, then why are you making it? A decision should be held to the level where basically it's done at the lowest possible level so that it enables all your subordinates to take on ownership of the organization, the problems, and the outcomes within your organization. Delegation is the most powerful tool that you can use as a leader. Yet so many leaders out there, let me rephrase, so many bosses out there, right? Refrain from using delegation because they're just too scared. Delegation will help you reduce your decision fatigue and basically free you up so that you're there making the most important decisions that you have to make. That's point number 2. Point number 3. Something a little interesting, something a little different. Make your important decisions based on your chronotype. I'll have this book in the show notes, but it's also in the Moving Forward Leadership resources section. If you just go to movingforwardleadership.com/resources, you'll see a whole whack of resources listed there from, all kinds of books from different, guests, as well as my recommended reads. But what I'm getting at is if you look at a book called The Power Win by Dr. Brous, he goes into his book explaining 4 different chronotypes: bears, lions, wolves, and dolphins. I am a lion. And if you want proof of that, just come to the Moving Forward Leadership Mastermind and you'll see my watch at 5 a.m. getting ready for a workout. Us lions are up early. Run hunt. Ready to roll. It's exactly how I am. So based off his book, I actually made a spreadsheet on when I should do everything I do in my life, in my day. The times that I should do it, and the times that I should not do it. And from there, I saw that I should be making my most important decisions in the morning, 9 to 10, 11 a.m. So if I knew something was up and that I had a presentation, a briefing that was being given to me, and that I would have to make a decision, or a meeting that I would expect that I would have to make a decision, I tried to make sure that they were in the morning based off of this recommendation from The Power of When. And let me tell you folks, it definitely helps. It completely lined up with how my body and my mind was operating, and I could make the best decisions possible during that time. So if you haven't read the book, The Power of When, yet, swing by the show notes and check out the link. Okay? It's in there. But making decisions based off your chronotype is just another way to make sure that you, your body, and your mind, and your work, it's all synchronized so that you're at your peak. Just like point 1, right? Operating at your peak. So, keep that in mind. And again, if you haven't read it, think about it, check it out. And if you do pick it up, let me know what you think. It's pretty neat stuff. Alright, point number 4. We're almost there. Reduce decision fatigue. So, let's go back to the exercise example. You're exercising, you get tired, if you're lifting weights, what do? Well, you put them down, you take a break. That's no difference than decision making. Don't line up meeting after meeting after meeting with important decisions, one after the other, if you can avoid it. Try to spread them out. Try to put a gap in there. Take at least 15, 20 minutes in between important decisions. Get out away from the office, the meeting room, whatever. Go get a coffee, take a walk, get some water, clear your mind, do whatever, but put breaks in between those important meetings so that you don't get exhausted. You don't run yourself to the ground. Allow yourself a breather. You owe it for yourself and your people and your organization to do so that you can make those important decisions. It's no different than exercising. You gotta put those weights down from time to time. Take a breath and then carry back on. Point number 4. And point number 5, the final one for today. Put some buffer time between the last hour or so before you go home. And what that's going to do is basically start your relaxation period from the day. And how I achieved this in my last job was when I would do basically my mindless administration for my squadron. Things I didn't have to make decisions on. I just need to be quickly briefed and mostly either review or sign off as a formality and then carry on. And sometimes it would literally be stacks of paperwork, felt like feet high some days. And all that's going to do is it's going to help you relax your mind. It's going to enable you to stop making decisions. Those files that came across my desk that needed a decision made on them, that didn't need to be made right there and then, I actually put them off to the side for the next morning. I was making no decisions at that point in the day because I wanted that basically relaxation time. As crazy as that may sound, mindless administration can be relaxation for a leader because you're not making decisions anymore. You're just going through the process, ensuring checks and balances are done before you go ahead and sign off on things. And what did that do? It enabled me to not have that impact at home from decision fatigue anymore. Then when I got home, my wife said, "Hey, what would you like for supper time?" I could go, "Hey, I was thinking, how about that pasta with the chicken and the other thing?" And she'd be like, "Yeah, that's a great idea. Awesome. All right, let's do it." It was no longer impacting my home life. My work life no longer impacted my home life for this anyway, because I was putting that buffer in. I was allowing myself to unwind, come down from decision fatigue, regain my strength, and go through the last bit of the day before going to bed. I know that may seem to be, to some, probably either obvious, or maybe to some of you it was actually a bit of a shocker. You didn't realize that it happened. But it does happen, ladies and gentlemen. So it bows you to try to find a way to mitigate it and to reduce the impacts of decision fatigue. So let's go over those mitigation strategies one more time. Remember, be at your peak. rest, exercise, work-life balance. Delegate, delegate, delegate. Make sure you do your important decisions based off your chronotype. Take breaks, and then finally, add some buffer time in at the end of your day so that you go home rested to make decisions at home. I hope that this helped you out. If it did, reach out. Let me know. Let me know what you think through the 50 million different social media channels that are out there, from Facebook to Twitter to Instagram, or just good old fashion email if that works for you. And seriously, folks, think about it. If you're not in the mastermind yet, then go ahead and check it out. I think what I'll be doing now in the near future is those who join the mastermind, you know what? I'm going to shoot you a free copy of my ebook, The 9 Foundations of Leadership, just because you're cool and you're coming in to help me and help everybody else, because you know what? You have something to add to. If you don't want to join the mastermind, you feel interested in my book, you're not sure if you want to buy it, then you know what? You can easily sign up for the newsletter. And that way you'll get 2 chapters free. If you just go to movingforwardleadership.com, you'll see the newsletter sign up there. And, part of that process, you get 2 chapters free of the 9 Foundations of Leadership. Check it out. Let me know what you think. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for me this week. As always, keep pushing, keep trying, keep moving forward. Take care now.